3 foods you should avoid and 3 foods you should eat for six-pack abs. Before I go any farther, I just want to clear the air on this. First things first, you can technically probably eat anything you want and still get and maintain six-pack abs. That doesn't mean you can go splurge on dinner buffets and stuff like that. It means you have to be very careful on your regulation and your moderation of foods that you consume. Having said all of that, I have done multiple physique competitions in the past, and I eliminated certain foods and I added certain foods that worked super well for me, and I'd like to share that with you. So if you are really hell-bent on cutting things out of your diet to try to get six-pack abs, here's my research. First things first, potatoes. Potatoes in and of themselves actually are not that bad. They have a good amount of vitamin C and fiber and potassium and some other key nutrients and trace minerals because they come from the ground. However, people have a tendency to overeat potatoes, and when you do, your blood sugar goes through the roof, your insulin goes up, and your fat storage goes up as well. By eating a lot of mashed potatoes, french fries, regular fried potatoes, and different types of potatoes and potato chips, obviously, on a daily basis, you're going to struggle really hard to get and maintain a six-pack. So definitely be leery of potatoes. Second thing, rice. A lot of people love rice. They like white rice, they like brown rice, they like basmati, they like any form of rice out there. To me, that's another trigger food. If you have a little bit of rice, that's totally fine. And I know that's a big staple in bodybuilding circles. And yes, you can maintain a six-pack. But again, we run the risk of having that serotonin hit when we have a little bit of rice and we want more and more. And before you know it, you're behind the 8 ball and you're going down to your local supermarket where they have all these ready-made foods and you're getting pork fried rice and all these other concoctions and you're plowing through a ton of it. That is going to make it extremely hard for you to maintain and gain and get a six-pack. Third, and probably most obvious, is bread. Bread has a similar effect as rice and potatoes. You have one slice, it tastes really good. You want 2 slices, you want 3 slices, and before you know it, you're plowing through a whole loaf of bread. Now granted, there are a lot of alternatives out there these days for bread that are keto and paleo and all these other things. And that's totally fine if you can keep it to 1 or 2 slices. But remember, calories are calories. And if you get keto bread and it's 50 calories per slice and you have 6 of those in conjunction with a regular meal, you just piled up your calories and you're probably getting a high amount of fat as well. And that is going to hinder your performance in your workouts the following day, and it's going to make it harder to burn that fat off and clean away all the fat, especially on your rectus abdominis, which is your abs. So I would suggest getting rid of potatoes, getting rid of rice, getting rid of bread, and then going about your way in pursuit of a six-pack. Now let's talk about the foods you should include. Once again, when I was competing, there were a few staples that I had on a regular basis. Now I do a dietary diversity protocol where I'm constantly changing the meals I eat, my first meal and second meal, because I do time-restricted eating, which is a type of fasting. Salmon was number 1. Salmon is a great source of protein. It's also good in omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for joints, it's good for inflammation, it's good for brain health, and it's also good for balancing your hormones, which is quintessentially important when it comes to building and maintaining muscle. And it helps you burn fat as well when you have essential fats in your diet. So I would highly suggest salmon. Secondly, baby spinach. Many times I would make a huge salad with baby spinach as the base, a bunch of vegetables, and then a big old hunk of salmon on top. Baby spinach is really good because it is high in iron, it is high in alkalinity, it's high in water content, it helps hydrate the body, and it has a battery of other vitamins and minerals essential to helping the body perform optimally. Lastly, sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is a good source of probiotics. It is high in antioxidants, it is alkaline, and I feel it tastes great. I used to slather it on top of my salmon, and then I'd have some roasted or steamed Brussels sprouts next to it, and then I would have a baby spinach salad. And I'm telling you, man, I would eat that meal, and the next day I felt like Superman. My energy was through the roof, my workouts were great, I was peeling away fat like you wouldn't believe, and I just felt all around fantastic. So to recap, avoid potatoes, avoid rice, avoid bread, and make sure to include salmon, baby spinach, and sauerkraut in your journey to gain a six-pack. And of course, none of this will ever come to fruition if you don't do the right workouts as well. I highly suggest fasted workouts, at least 12 hours, work out first thing in the morning, just drink water, try to do high intensity workouts and cut your rest breaks down to 30 seconds or less if you can, and do circuit workouts as well, where you target all areas of your abs and your lower back too. Lastly, I have a little bonus tip for you. Carbs by themselves are not really the problem. It's the overabundance of them, especially the simple carbs. But in the big, grand scheme of things, the biggest problem is simple carbs combined with saturated fats. For example, a cheeseburger is a good form of bad food that you do not want to eat. You want to avoid it because you have saturated fat and you have a bun which is simple carbs. Bad news. French fries doused in ketchup. A little bit of ketchup, fine. But still, French fries in and of themselves, it's a simple carb that is deep fried in grease, which gives it saturated fat. So French fries are ill-advised. French fries with gravy on top of them or any kind of concoction that I see in some of these restaurants nowadays, be careful of all those because they are not only a calorie bomb, but they're going to alter your blood sugar levels. They're going to increase your risk for heart disease. They're going to increase your cholesterol, and they're going to have all kinds of battery of issues with them. That's why desserts are really bad for you. Cake, cookies, cupcakes, all these different things. It's saturated fat and it's simple carbs. Just remember, simple carbs, saturated fat is the overall big devil. If you're going to have carbs, that's fine. Make sure to have them with protein and a good source of fat, and have a small amount, like the size of your fist or the size of your open hand. But if you're really looking to get that six-pack fast, avoid those things I talked to you about before and include the things I told you about. Till next time, have a great day. Make sure to like and share this video, subscribe to our channel, and let me know if you have any questions or comments.